on here.
I'll slide that coffee down.
All right, now that James is here and I actually did hit the streaming button, I'm going to say welcome to the San Carlos Computer Club again because it was missed on the stream. And this is our first meeting of 2018-2019, and this is more people than I was expecting for as hot as it is out there.
Yeah, it's kind of sweaty out there.
I've been back for 5 days, and I can't seem to leave my house because I'm Alaskan, and
It hasn't been that bad in the last few days.
I've never felt more like a polar bear than coming back here. I like your shirt.
I wore it on honor of you.
Oh, well, thank you. Hey, I'm a well-known Star Wars fan.
Oh, you are? Okay. I'll remember that.
Wow.
Say that again.
That was a rhetorical.
Unfortunately, James's shirt can't be seen on any of our cameras. You're going to have to stand up like this at some point at one of our cameras. Where'd the other camera go? Oh, they're both over there. Well, that's a pretty good shot. That's great. So we stream this online. There you go. Awesome. We stream this online as live video on YouTube, and we also do a live audio from the website, the San Carlos Computer Club, the scclub.org. And I also post things at that website, tech news that I find interesting or things related to our club. And my friend Richard put together a couple, I guess you'd call them like promo videos of members of the club saying nice things about us. And I posted those on YouTube, and you can find links to that on scclub.org if you're interested in seeing what some of our members have said about us.
That's the fake news station.
That's the fake tech news. That's right.
SCC.
Well, what makes it fake news is I won't post any bad things said about us. It's only going to be good stuff.
No, that's not it. What's our
Say again. Website?
yeah.
scclub.org.
Oh, club.
Okay.
scclub.org. Wow, I'm really disappointed because this is supposed to be synchronizing the topics I brought with me. I may have to work off my phone.
Hold on.
I'll get it.
So did you guys see the Apple release? Or
No,
I was gonna say,
you
pretty
got
cool.
yeah?
It's
Did
got
you-
some pretty cool stuff?
Did you get any new hardware, services, software this year or this summer?
Yeah, the one that the update that they just did, has a measuring tool, so you can physically measure things.
You're talking about the iPhone.
iPad.
The iPad.
But yeah, I'm sure it's probably the same.
Yeah, they were showing that off at the Apple event, where the iPhone you could take. It was augmented reality they were showing off, and you could do something like look at a table, and then you could specify points to be measured. So you could specify this corner and that corner, and then on the screen it would tell you how long that is.
Interesting.
Put the plus on like on a physical object, press the button, and move it across.
So, okay.
That's doing.
Continue to move iPad.
It'll measure it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty accurate.
Is that a Apple?
Now, is this isn't that Apple software? This must be is that Apple software?
Yep, it's the one
The one that
showed up
just-
3 days ago.
Oh wow. Okay, I can't make it work.
So it's a software thing, not a hardware thing.
Yeah, software, but it's using new software for the old hardware.
Apple was pretty cool in this last release. There was a bunch of stuff that they were releasing that was going to be compatible with all their old equipment. The Apple Watch specifically, but stuff like this as well.
So yeah.
So I got away from Apple a long time ago because problems proprietary. I was buying music. I lost the music, all this other stuff. But that's a long time ago. How do they compare with the what operating system?
Oh, it needs more light.
The other operating system. There's Apple and there's
There's Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon.
no, I'm not talking about
Android?
Android.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Android, yeah, Google.
So how does that shape up today? Is Android still a better system? Is it a better system?
Wow. Yeah, we could spend a couple of computer clubs talking about the nuances between Apple and Android. As far as better goes, it's pretty subjective.
It's like
The-
asking a Democrat if the Republicans are better.
All right.
I mean, I enjoy both platforms.
There's no answer, right?
No.
No.
You know what some of my answers to these kinds of questions are, and my folks are kind of trying to balance this question right now. And Apple has a reputation for privacy, whereas Android absolutely does not. It has a reputation for getting compromised left and right.
No, it's not.
So if privacy is a concern of yours, that might draw you over into the Apple camp.
Be a delay.
For years, the Apple phones were considered the better cameras until about 6 months ago when Google put out the Pixel 2. And the Pixel 2 is considered the best smartphone camera on the market right
Referring
now.
only to tablets and stuff.
Oh, as far as tablets go.
Tablets, yeah.
Well, that gets even weirder then. Because when you get into the tablet markets, you're looking at Samsung Android tablets, you're looking at iPhone or iPad, iOS tablets, and you're looking at Microsoft Surface tablets running Windows 10. And so each one of them has their own characteristics that make them more appealing. One of the things about Apple that's very clear, especially every year after year, it's become more and more clear, is that device typically works. There's typically not a reason. Android, I spend a lot of time finding out why something's not working.
Yeah.
And trying to resolve that issue of why that's not working. On the Apple device, that's not typically the case. You install an app, you use it. If you have a problem with that app, you uninstall it, you reinstall it, the problem's gone. It's just very much in an Apple flavor. There's less customizing in an Apple world. But there's more now with the latest versions of iOS, but it doesn't compare to Android. Android just has insane, limitless amounts of customization. So if you're kind of a tweaker, a hacker with your equipment, Android's very appealing. Another thing, going back to phones, you said specifically tablets, but going back to phones, talking about it as a platform, I'm very happy with a $150 iPhone or Android phone. The latest iPhones are starting at $1,000. So if you're on a budget, it's hard to think seriously about an iPhone. Something we should talk about, and we'll probably talk more about it throughout this season, is this Apple Watch is worth looking at. This is the first Apple Watch that I'm taking very seriously. But it's hard,
Wristwatch.
the smartwatch. But it's hard to take it seriously if you don't have an iPhone right next to it. And it doesn't matter whether it makes its own phone calls. What matters is administering the watch. And it is going to be 10 times easier if you have an iDevice next to you than an Android device. There are going to be features that you're going to be left out of because you're not in that ecosystem with the watch. And still, this watch, I really feel like, and it's one of my topics, is that this Series 4 makes a lot of sense for me, makes a lot of sense for you folks, it makes a lot of sense for my parents. And the thing that screws that up is not a lot of us are using iPhones right now. But this watch is IP68 waterproof. You are encouraged to swim with it. It's got a, they've been able to put a bigger screen in the exact same footprint, so it's actually slightly thinner than the previous iWatch. I'm going to do that as we talk. I will continue to call it the iWatch because I'm 48 years old, and that's the name it should have had. But I mean the Apple Watch when I say it. So it's just a hair thinner than what's out right now, but you probably won't notice a difference. Most of the reviewists are saying they don't notice a difference in thin or weight, but the screen is 30 to 32% bigger than the previous screen. That means it's easier to look at and more information can get on it, and it takes up no extra space on your wrist. what they've included, and the new Apple Watch is the only one I've seen them talk about as being able to detect in real time a low heartbeat. But they have high heartbeat detection across all their Apple Watches. And so while you're wearing the watch in real time, it will give you a warning if your heartbeat has gone too high or too low, out of characteristics, out of what's considered the norm. Just to kind of give you a little, hey, did you know you're sitting here watching TV and you're beating at 190 beats a minute? Maybe you should be concerned about your heart. Maybe you should go just get your doctor to check you out. And that's happening in real time all the time. And it's available on all the watches.
Must be this one, Apple Watch 4.
Yep, the Series 4. They're also released an EKG on this watch. Now the EKG is going to be available across all the Apple Watches to date. But they are saying the sensors on the newest one are the most accurate sensors ever. Now they say that about all their products. It's the most beautiful phone we've ever made, right? So take that with a grain of salt. Foxconn in China. But they do have a built-in EKG now that you can, if you feel like you're experiencing something and you want to share it, you hit a button, it takes an EKG, turns it into a PDF, you're able to send that to your doctor. Since Series 3, you've been able to make phone calls with it. So you can get cell service for the base unit. The base unit watches are like $399 and $499. The $499 makes cell phone calls, receives cell
That
phone
sounds
calls.
cheap.
Yeah, it does.
But don't you have to have your phone
No.
by it to make the phone calls?
No.
Because you know the one that they came out with on your arm? You have to have your phone by it in order to make the calls.
So at Series 3, they released a GMS version, an LTE version of the watch. And this is an improvement on the Series 3.
So could you have your Mexican service on that?
This is what we're waiting to find out, because I have not heard a carrier describe how you buy this service. But I would bet you have to go to Telcel and get a special plan that couples your phone number on both devices. And if they don't offer that, then you're probably buying cell service. This is my speculation, because I haven't heard a carrier talk about this yet. Now, what's definitely going to happen in the United States is places like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they're going to be selling these packages, right? You're going to be able to walk in, they're going to be like, oh yeah, you can get the new phone and the new watch discounted $300, and you'll be able to use your cell phone number on both of them. And they'll have, but who knows what Telcel's going to do, and we're just going to have to wait and find out. I haven't seen any promotions.
Well, it would pay to go down and talk to them if you're in the market, right?
Yeah, I think it would. And they've just been released, so I would imagine that Telcel is going to have a promo that's coming out pretty soon that will include that kind of stuff. If they put together a plan where you can spread it across two devices, then I can imagine that will be available regardless of where you get your devices. So if you bought it in the United States, you could bring it down here. But all this is speculation. I haven't read anything yet about it.
Good information.
They also, and as I'm saying these, bit by bit, you start to see how it clicks in to really making sense. And let me add another piece to it. They've added fall detection. So this is instead of your emergency care wrist bracelet, you can set up, Linda, you can set up fall detection, and you can set up a list of contacts to be contacted and an emergency services if you've fallen and not replied to the message on the screen of your phone. If you've fallen over and you're not able to say, I'm okay, then a set period of time that you set, like say in 30 minutes, it'll start sending out phone calls to your next of kin, to your emergency services.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I'm falling and I can't get up.
that's
Well,
right.
But that's it.
So you're gonna be able to put one of those services in there, like, you know, how everybody wears the neck thing?
That's right.
Yeah, but that's you've got to pay for that service.
I
Yeah,
wonder if it
but
would,
you're gonna have
if
to pay
it's
for the
the
service for
jolt,
this to have
like
the
if you
phone.
were, you know what I mean,
The
if
watch is
it's
not
the
gonna be
quick
free.
jolt,
Yeah, but this
Well, it has
radar
both
can't be-
accelerometers and GPS in it. I suspect.
Like an
You're gonna
accident,
have
like
to
a
get
car
your own
accident.
plan.
Do you know what? Yeah, like a car accident would be a great one. Yeah. If you think about it, we have accelerometers in certain hard drives now, so that if they drop at a certain velocity, they know they're going to hit the floor, and so they move the head to a parked position. And so I imagine it's that same kind of technology.
You too.
I was watching with the iPad would be, you know, for me.
That probably would work.
Because I hate cell phones. I
Yeah.
hate carrying cell phones. I just don't like carrying them, you know, and it's like, and they're too small, you know, I like the size of the iPad to be able to read everything.
Sure. Yeah. And the iPad. I mean, one of the beauties of that is it's the size of a magazine or a size of a book.
Has an iPad ever been a telephone? Like
Yes,
the way a
yes.
cell phone is?
Yeah.
It has.
Well, yeah, there hasn't been specific phones like cell service, but
Yeah.
you could use Skype or you could use Magic Jack or Vonage on it.
They had some that had the little,
You can use
You can put the
FaceTime.
stick.
had the stick, the thing inside. You could
Like, makes it-
You're talking about like an LTE SIM,
yeah,
like from your cell phone. But I think that provides you with data,
right.
and then your call experience doesn't exist on the pad. That actual phone calls would have to be through a third-party application or FaceTime.
Like Skype.
Well,
Yeah.
I just got the stick from Telcel.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, it's an internet stick, so I can put it in my tablet.
Oh, it's a USB
It's a
Wi-Fi.
USB Wi-Fi stick.
for data,
and
okay.
It's for data.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that
it
makes
was-
sense.
It was below
Does this get a
$20
USB?
for the stick.
It does.
You have to pay
The
It-
only thing it has is the fire.
You have to buy
What do they call it?
the reason I got it was you
The
can just
firewire,
buy
yeah,
the,
or lightning
the
bolt.
minutes. The only
That's the
problem
same
when you
thing.
buy the minutes and you don't go to
Everything
Telcel
has to
and
go
buy the
through.
minutes,
Yeah.
then you got, if you go to Oxel and buy the minutes, you gotta call in to Telcel.
Can
Tell them
can
that you bought the minutes. If you go to Telcel and buy the minutes, you don't have that problem.
can I give you just a couple other things with the watch, because I think we'll be talking about the watch all this season. I think I'm gonna figure out there's heart problems in my family, and so the idea that there's an active real-time heart monitor on you all the time, just making you aware. I mean, it is FDA approved, but it's not the highest level like a heart monitor would be. It's
Did
more.
your father get a pacemaker?
No, but he's had angio stents.
Oh.
He's had a double bypass. He's had that kind of stuff. So I'm concerned about that kind of stuff all the time. So I think this is really making sense to me. I can put it on my wrist. I can kiteboard with it. It can alert me to any weird, like AFib and problems that I might have throughout the day. But it also includes podcasts. It includes Apple Music. It has Bluetooth, so you can Bluetooth it with headsets.
they're not giving you the-
With the cell, with the entertainment, with the waterproofing, I think you can walk out of the house and forget your cell phone and not feel like you have to go back in the house and get your cell phone. You can just keep going.
$399.
And one last thing I wanted to mention about this, I learned this summer.
This version starts at $399, and then they give
Yeah,
you.
but you
Is
gotta-
that-
But you gotta have the phone, otherwise it doesn't fit.
I think you need to have a phone or a tablet
Yeah.
for it.
Well, with the phone, without the phone, you may as well not have it, right?
I think that it would probably end up being so complicated to administer the device that it wouldn't be a good experience. And I think Apple's done that intentionally.
This is GPS only. Oh, here's the
They
cellular
might
option starts
make
at
it so if you
$499.
have a laptop computer that there's something.
I want a
that you
computer
can-
that knows what I'm gonna do.
Well, yeah, and I think you're right. You probably could use the iPad, but there's probably going to be something in the phone. Hey, I just want to mention one last thing. Have you guys heard of the face, the apps that are on the on the Apple Watch? Linda,
Vodafone, are they good?
Oh, Vodafone.
Linda,
What?
have you heard what they call the apps that go on the Apple Watch?
I don't know anything about Apple.
They call them complications. And yeah, see, that's every tech person I know has laughed at this name. Like, why did they, since Series 1 they called them complicated? It's like, why would you put that in a product? Right? I mean, the last thing I want is something complicated on my wrist. I want easy stuff on my wrist, right? Well, it turns out the term complication is from the watch genre. It is a term that we've used for over 100 years to describe the things like the stopwatch off to the side, the barometer, the moon and the sun. They've always been called complications. And I didn't realize that till this summer, that Apple adapted that from that watch culture. So anybody looking for a fine watch knows exactly what complications mean.
Well, think about this, and this is one thing I've learned from playing words with friends, is the amount of words that you don't use and come up, because they have this feature that after you do the word, you can click on this little feature, see, and it'll tell you what the better word was you could have gotten more points from.
Oh, that's interesting.
And a lot of the words, some of the words I've never even heard of. Anyway, this is a question for here. He's reading these features. This says digital crown haptic feedback.
Oh, that is new.
What is that?
Okay, so haptic feedback in whatever product we're talking about is the ability for them to create a vibration that is associated with whatever movement you're having. So it might be, you may have already experienced this on some of your cell phones. You have this soft screen keyboard. It's an on-screen keyboard.
Right.
But when you hit a key, your phone might vibrate a little bit in your hand to give you the indicator that you've hit a key. That's haptic feedback. It's trying to trick your senses into thinking it's had a physical response, like a physical key press. And so on that digital crown, it's being used for scrolling through content on the screen, and as you roll the crown, it bumps. So you feel this bump on each scroll line.
That's not
Right?
interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It really is a refining of this product. It really is kind of dialing in all these little things that make it a much tighter product.
But when I want to buy house,
Hey, I wanted to mention the complications. The reason I mentioned the complications is one of the new things it's bringing is a watch face that you can set up yourself, very similar to how you set up your Android home screen, where you can have the time, but then you can pick what complications you want to have appear on your. So how many steps that you've done that day, what your heart rate is, maybe your calorie count,
Kind of
maybe
like your phone.
very much like your phone, yeah, but you can have it all on your wrist.
Oh yeah.
Text message preview.
What does LTE mean exactly?
You mean what's the acronym stand for, or what it's
Yes.
Yeah.
referring to?
Yeah.
well,
'Cause-
both.
Yeah, I don't remember what the acronym is, but
Well,
it's
says you can
4G.
order it with two different size screens.
LTE
And
is cell.
With or without LTE.
LTE is cell, so you
Oh,
make
the
phone
cell
calls.
service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I can't say that.
yeah.
So they're showing that.
Well, what they're saying by LTE is it's not going to work in an edge, like an old 2G cell phone pocket.
have to be
It means like if you go over to Mulegé, there's a good chance it's not going to work
Right.
because they haven't updated their cell. And I'm speculating. I've been in Mulegé forever.
Now, here's what I want to
It
see.
says it's $4.99 with cellular option.
Yeah, that's the one I want.
Oh.
That's the one I want. They have I think it's a $9.99. Is that right? Which is
$9.99?
stainless steel.
Oh, he didn't get that far. We're just looking at.
And they've got a $15.99.
Oh, jeez.
And all three of these watches are the same product. The difference is the finish.
Body.
Yeah, and in some cases, the box that they come in. They have a box with what's the brand? You'll say, is it Aramis? I think it's Aramis.
But
And they've got custom band, a custom color. They've got a box with some custom features in it, and they're charging $15.99 for it. So I would say if you have any interest in this watch, look at the first option and forget the other options. They're trying to get you with shiny, bright colored things.
well, I noticed that the watch here, the $499, looks like it has like a cloth rope.
That's right.
type band.
It comes with a-
So if you're talking about stainless steel, that means
I
band's
think-
gonna be stainless
No,
steel, so that's a lot.
not
more-
necessarily. The face is stainless steel.
Oh.
I think the stainless steel actually comes with some generic band as well.
Really?
I think
It's
the
not gonna
old-
be a metal band?
I don't. You can look there, but from what I saw, it didn't look that way to me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably endless options. They'll probably have leather.
Right. Well, if you go into an Apple store right now, the whole front of the Apple store is like a watch
The
band
watches?
store,
Yeah.
Oh.
right? I mean, it's just rack
They have
after
lots
rack
of
after
watch
rack.
bands you can buy for it?
That's right.
Good.
That's what they're selling. They're
Gold for you, right?
well, you know, did you pay attention to the Series 1 when they first released the Apple Watch? They had gold-plated one that was, what was it? It was like $10,000. It was like, yeah, special edition they called it.
Probably sold a bunch.
Well, they probably sold as many as they made.
Yeah.
I don't think they made a lot, but I think they did. They sold them to, you know, people like Lil Wayne and
That heart rate
Yeah.
thing is gonna be. I think it's gonna be really nice.
I think the waterproofing, the heart
Yeah,
rate,
definitely,
the
yeah.
bigger screen, I think those are all real. The phone calls.
So how often do they come up with a new watch?
Well, when they had that $10,000 watch, that's what everybody asked. It's like, why would you pay $10,000 for a watch that's going to be out of date in 6 months?
Right.
Well, they waited 2 years, but then they put out another one, and now they're putting out a watch like every year.
There's people that
Yeah.
just like to
I
spend
have a
money. I
question.
mean,
This is off the Apple subject.
I hate those people.
Does
You're
anybody
talking about
have-
people that just have $1,000. Just hey, you know what? I got a scratch on mine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh well.
I'm sorry, Linda. Go ahead.
Now, this is off the Apple, but does anybody have Android 8.1? Because
No.
my tablet went to Android 8.1,
It did.
and I had to call.
This is
in-
Oreo you're talking about.
Yeah, I had to call into Samsung. We redid the phone, we redid the tablet, but I still have hangups. I mean, where the touch isn't right, the web page hangs up.
Is it the official release
Yeah.
for your phone, for your hardware? It's the
Yeah, it came on overnight, yeah. And so I had a problem, so I called Samsung. They said, well, it doesn't appear when they look. They can see everything on your phone, on your tablet. He goes, well, it doesn't appear it loaded correctly.
that's
So
odd.
we reloaded the whole thing, then it was acting correct. But sometimes it just, when you touch it, it doesn't go. You have to keep going like this to make it go.
Have you tried doing a factory reset again?
No, I haven't.
Because I would do that definitely.
Try and do a factory reset again.
Yeah, just flash it to 0 and set it up like a brand new phone.
Get rid of so I should write everything down.
Yeah,
So
no,
you
you
think-
should make a backup of
Well,
anything.
they
Yeah.
back up everything. Should I try to back up everything on a stick? I mean, because I have the back, the Samsung
the
has all
Samsung backup. Have you been satisfied with that? Has that been very
The
effective
backup?
for you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I use the Huawei backup, and I'm satisfied with everything except that it forgets things like my background picture. And so like I have to. There's a certain number of things I have to go after I restore from the backup. I have to go and reset a number of things to get it back the way my phone was. But it is probably about 85% what my phone was before after I restore. And so I always make a backup before I do a software update. And then if things go crazy, I just factory reset it to 0, set it up, install the backup software, and restore from backup.
So maybe I should just try to back it up on a stick and then completely wipe it like I was giving it to somebody else.
That's what I think you.
Back in.
I think before you think you have any kind of real problem, that's what you should do. And then if as a fresh device it's having the same problems, then you got to talk to Samsung again because they've done something wrong.
Time to buy a 4-pound hammer.
So
Wait,
I'm
you
getting-
could insist on rolling back because this is screwed up.
Well, I don't know if they let you roll it back.
Well-
They have to roll it back.
Yeah, they're going to have to help you roll it back. I mean, you can roll it back on your own. It is possible to roll it back. But they'll if they're getting complaints like this from you, they're going to have to make the determination that either you've broken your hardware, which should not have happened from their update. It should, I mean, like you physically broke it in the midst of all this, or their update is having a problem and you want to go back to your original software so you don't have this problem. And so they're going to have to make that determination. And if it is determined that you need to roll back, then they should help you do it. Yeah.
So I have a thing from June 14th, 2018. This Friday, Telcel and AT&T started selling the watch version.
Oh, excellent.
So far, none of the operators offers hiring the service in corporate plans or for prepaid users.
Yep.
But anyway, obviously, they're Telcel was involved.
Yeah, that was June
Awesome.
14th.
Awesome. Well, they've had the Series 3 watch on the market for a long time now. So it could be that this announcement is getting geared up towards this 4 because they're expecting a larger market share to all of a sudden appear.
Yeah. What will be that?
Well, I like the price point. I've been looking at activity trackers and heart monitors for a number of years now, and I've tried it. I was very happy with the Garmin, even though the Garmin still was lacking. And I keep waiting for something better to come out at a better price point. The Apple Watch was never on my list until the last release, and it was still too expensive for what it was, for what I would get out of it. And this is the first one where that price point makes sense to me, and all the features that come with it make
Well, it
sense.
seems like with Apple, and that's one of the things that got away from Apple a long, long time ago, is everything is connected to each other and not to Android. It's a lot like Apple computers are not generic with all the other, IBM based stuff. Is it still the same?
Well, we don't use computers in a way that's a big deal anymore. I mean, there was a time when we would be working on a document here and need to get it over there, and that was more difficult if you were in an Apple world.
So is the, well, here's a better way to question it. Is the Apple world proprietary, or does it interface with Android also?
Yeah, they're both proprietary.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess what it is you can get into services and technologies in an Apple world that don't translate into a Google world or a Microsoft world. So if you want to have those same experiences, you have to recreate them in a completely different way.
So Google is not part of the Apple, so Google is not part of Apple.
Well, you can take advantage, like they all make apps for each other. So Google has apps on an iPhone. Google has apps in a Macintosh computer, and undoubtedly they'll have apps, if they don't already, on the Apple Watch, because they are platforms and there are market shares and they want to be everywhere. And Microsoft's the same way. Microsoft's gotten really good at being all over Apple and all over Android, even though Windows is there.
So if a person wanted to keep current in technology, or let's say as far as hardware is concerned, things coming up, what's the time frame? A year, 2, 5? I mean, what do you think the time frame is that you have to upgrade, like a car, safety features, all this other stuff?
Irving, we've gotten to a point where that is that's difficult to take serious anymore. I think there's a better chance your device is going to break before you need to upgrade it. I think that's really where we've gotten to a planned obsolescence point in history. I think that, I'll give you a good example of Wi-Fi routers. A few years back, probably 5 years ago, we had the security we needed, the performance we needed, the reliability we needed from a Wi-Fi router. It worked perfectly, there was nothing wrong with it, no reason to upgrade it. But what happened in the marketplace is you got Wi-Fi, your neighbor got Wi-Fi, and the hotel down the street got Wi-Fi, and the restaurant around the corner got Wi-Fi, and your other neighbors got Wi-Fi. And pretty soon your Wi-Fi hotspot is sitting in the midst of a dozen hotspots. And because of the nature of how radio works, they're all competing with each other. Now your Wi-Fi experience has been diminished because it spends the majority of its time correcting errors from conflicts from all this other Wi-Fi around it than it spends trying to provide you with the best internet connection. So Nothing wrong with your equipment, still does the job it was always intended to do, but because of where we are in technology, you got to upgrade that Wi-Fi.
So the new upgrade will be
The,
more
the,
more
the, the
efficient.
newer equipment, faster processors, more radios, can deal with conflicts quicker, has more range, more robust. So you upgrade to stay exactly where you are.
Got it.
It's like a bed mill.
Yeah.
As fast as you want to, not going anywhere.
The upgrade treadmill. That's probably a good analogy.
Well, I can tell that this summer, okay, I have an extender in the living room so I can have my IPTV and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and because the IPTV, they come with a little antenna on them, but unless you are in direct sight line and about 3 feet away, you can't get it, you gotta plug in.
Which is not really a problem in an American-built house with drywall and
Correct.
2x4s,
But
but
it's
is
a problem
always a
here.
problem in this
So
country
you have
with
to have-
cement rebar.
You have to have an extender.
Yeah.
But the internet has been going down so low
In your area?
that I lose the communication with the extender. And sometimes I have to, because I have a little cabinet and I've got the extender and all that in there, and the IPTV box and everything in there, I have to pull the extender out and put it up on top because it's not strong enough picking it up, and it's only down in the bedroom, maybe 30 feet.
Yeah, you can't get it more central? Or maybe more central isn't, maybe it's, like I had a situation in one guy's house where there was this narrow hallway,
Uh-huh.
but if you got in the hallway, you could see the Wi-Fi access point. If you put the extender offset from the hallway, it barely functioned. But if you could get it in the hallway, then it was an amazing Wi-Fi connection.
Well, I was trying to avoid bringing it out in the living room because everything's so messy. It's
Euro.
just-
The Euros, I swear by them.
Yeah.
That technology is amazing. This mesh technology. Stick one in the hallway. Stick one in the guest room. All of a sudden, you've got
Remember when we
robust
tried-
Wi-Fi everywhere.
Remember when we tried to get the plugins and I wound up giving them to,
That's not mesh networking
that's
though.
not the same as Mesh Network.
Yeah, EROS, Euros,
Euros.
and
They're expensive.
Is that gizmo that you brought in your past
Mhm.
last year?
Yeah.
But it was amazing performance. I mean, it was like having a cable connected to the computer, and we were 3 rooms down. It was. They are obviously using a proprietary antenna array and their own wireless technology, and they're rebroadcasting access wherever those beacons are. But the beacons talking to the main base station are using their own proprietary formula, and that's not getting disrupted by your neighbor's Wi-Fi's or cell phone signals or any of that other garbage that can affect your Wi-Fi. They've
So you think it's worth it to spend the money on it?
I do. I think that price, when you price it up, like look in the traditional way you've been doing it and the way I've done it in the past, where you got the main router, you want a decent router, so you're going to spend $80 to $120 for a decent router.
I have a Buffalo router.
Then you're going to get access points wherever you have weak spots. You're going to have extenders in those weak spots. Those
So they're
extenders are,
$80.
they're from $40 to $80 each.
Correct.
So you very quickly get up to that almost $300 that's going to cost the Eero and the 2 beacons.
But none of that up to your internet speed though. If you're plugged into 5 megabytes, that thing is not going to.
Absolutely. If you're plugged into 5 megabytes, you're only going to go as fast as what's coming and going to the house.
See, that's what's wrong in the country club.
Yeah,
And they're
that's-
not, told us they're not going to up it.
But wait a second,
because-
if that's your problem, then the extender doesn't matter. Now, you were describing extender problem, and this is the solution for the extender problem. This won't fix your internet provider problem,
Right.
but this will fix your extender problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so.
So what's cool
You
about
had that one in the living room.
What's cool about, like, take the hallway, the narrow hallway example, right? So what's cool about the way a mesh network works is, say down at the end of the hallway you have the main base station plugged into your internet.
Okay.
Same thing. You get offset and you can't get internet. So you put one in the hallway. Now you've got internet flowing down the hallway. You got a guest room down the hallway to the right, and that's got a SAD connection. So you put one in there. So you're over on the other side, and you can see the guest bedroom through a window, but you can't see the hallway. The way a mesh network works is going to the hallway from where you are could be a lousy connection because there's cement and rebar in between you and the hallway. But you can see through your window to the guest bedroom's window, and that's a much better connection. Because that's a much better connection, these automatically will route your data through the window to the one in the guest bedroom, down the hallway to the main base station.
Does glass have any effect?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's better. If there's glass, it has almost no effect on your connection.
So
It's better than a cement wall.
Do we really only need, say
Now
I got it.
the point I'm trying to make is that if your fastest connection isn't to the base station, but it's to an extender through another extender through a base station, it will automatically do that. Instead of trying to connect here, it'll do this because it made the calculation. And it'll do that on the fly. Maybe you're wandering around, and every so often you hit a point where the fastest connection is straight to the base station. Well, that's the way it sends the data. Dave, if you follow what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, I have an older Telmex router.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be worth it to take it in and get a new one? I know they have some new ones, or
Well,
does it really matter?
Yeah.
And number two, if I got that Eros, would I be getting rid of my Buffalo router that's attached to my Telmex?
Okay, so first of all, if you were going to go with a mesh network like I'm describing, then all you need is access to internet, which means the most basic Telmex modem is going to feed this base station.
Okay, so I'd be fine with the modem I have.
That's right, and you could get into it. I know you have the skills to get into it and shut off all the stuff that would make it insecure, like another Wi-Fi. You don't need the extra infinity of Wi-Fi pocket, so I would turn it off.
I don't know how to do that.
In fact, your router might even have a button on the side to turn off the Wi-Fi, depending on what model you have. But I
have an old one.
Yeah, I would just turn off anything that's extraneous.
So I could get rid of the Buffalo router.
And then here's the other thing, is that there's no reason you can't run these technologies in parallel. You could leave your Buffalo router connected to your Infinitum and add the Euro and its beacons and take advantage of all that. What's important to know is that the Buffalo won't work with the Euros. So you're either on one or the other, but you can have both. It's just a matter of which one are you connected to. If you follow what I mean. You
It's
could
like you do now. And you've got the Buffalo router in the bedroom by the Telmex, then you've got the bridge out in the living room.
No,
It's got another.
not like you're doing now, because that bridge has to go back to the Buffalo.
Okay.
It has to. So you have to maintain a good connection between those. That bridge also uses traditional Wi-Fi technology as we know it,
Okay.
and so that's susceptible to interference from other radio waves in your area, other Wi-Fis that are outside, or cell networks, or broadcasts. All affect the quality of that transmission. The Eero uses its own proprietary network protocol to
So
talk
just get
between.
rid of that and get the Euro.
Yeah, you could get rid of it all. All you need is a basic
Telmex router.
and plug it into the Eero. And then if you find there's another area on your property that needs better Wi-Fi, you just buy another beacon and put it in that
So
area.
they come with two beacons, the main beacon and the.
Yeah, well,
three
the
beacons.
package that I worked with came with two beacons. Came with the base station and two beacons.
EROS, right?
Yeah, EROS.
EROS.
But I really do think the price is worth it. The problem, Linda, is that if you're getting less than 5 megabits a second out of Telmex, you're still gonna be disappointed with what's going on. You're just not gonna have the problem you're having with the extender. You're not going to have the extender problem, but you're still going to be disappointed because your internet speed is
As soon as
lacking.
you try to fire up two gadgets, you got a problem.
So what's the best internet? Is it Telmex or is there other sources?
Yeah, there is few sources.
Right.
There's Telmex, Mega Cable, the cell phone company, and the local Wi-Fi provider, the X-Pro.
What's the best?
Well, the best depends on what your circumstances are. Where you're located, how long you're here.
Vista Marina.
You're in Vista Marina.
Want to leave price?
Vista Marina is the relatively new development above Marina Real.
Yeah.
So they have fiber optics in there
Right.
from Telmex. I do not believe cable's available. So fiber optics is your best option. Yeah.
What is the speed
I was
here?
hoping you could tell me there's something better.
Yeah. Fiber optics is your best option in that area. And it's a really decent price too for what fiber
What
optics
speed do they
is.
advertise on fiber optics?
Nice.
Say again?
If you can
What
get
speed
it.
do they advertise
But it's
on
like,
fiber optics?
Well, like in here,
I love Mega.
they have fiber optics and it goes up to like 40 megabits a second at times. Yeah, I think they do 10 to 20, 20 to 40, and then 100 plus.
How do I get 250? What do they do in Canada? We're not doing it here.
Oh, they're just not offering it here. No, they just have to have the right
It's
equipment.
available if they made it available.
Fiber is amazing.
1 euro plus 2 beacons.
They could be offering us 10 gigabit connections through fiber if they wanted to. But what, Gary, to answer your question, what you got to understand is how they put together their infrastructure, and so that may be possible where you are. But the way Telmex is doing it, they're not offering that. The potential of fiber could go up to 10 gigabits a second, but because they have to use these
Part of what exists.
these switches, these remote switches, you may have fiber, but there's a limit on how much potential is at that central area, and then that's spread out to all their customers. And so you get caught up in that.
What would you have to do to require 250 gigabytes coming at you, or leaving up or down at 250? What kind of a system would you need that would actually?
I don't think you can get 250 gigabytes right now through fiber. I think you're thinking 250 megabytes.
Megabytes.
Yeah, megabytes is what you're probably thinking. And
But it's up and down. It's not slower going out than it is coming in.
right, it's symmetric. It's called symmetric when they do
Scott, I
that.
have a question.
Yeah, which is common with fiber.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna interrupt, okay. So in my bedroom, to improve my internet.
Wait, this is Computer Club. I don't know what you need improvements in your bedroom for, but
Ah, come on, recommend something.
Anyway, so rather than rely on Wi-Fi, what I did is I had X-Pro run a wire from my modem in my,
the one that's receiving X-Pro's signal.
we ran it over the roof,
Yep.
into my bedroom, down.
Okay, so you have a
and into
physical
a box.
connection. Yeah.
From that box, I'm plugged into, let's say, my IPTV for like
Okay. Yeah.
Is that a Wi-Fi connection or is that an Ethernet connection?
Well, in your case, it's virtually both, because you're getting Wi-Fi from X Pro. That's how you get your internet connection. So that Wi-Fi into your house from X Pro is susceptible to all the same kind of interference as Wi-Fi could have.
I'm getting it from Telcel, my Wi-Fi.
Oh, you said X Pro.
No, the X Pro installed.
Oh, I'm
direct
sorry.
wire.
I didn't understand that.
They,
Okay.
what I
So that's an
consider-
Ethernet connection.
That's what I say. It's an Ethernet connection. It's
Yeah.
not Wi-Fi, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a cable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not Wi-Fi.
but
All right.
your extender, you just have an
I
extender.
don't have an extender. I
Yes,
have-
you do. You have a box in the bedroom.
But that-
on the floor
that-
that you plug into.
But that box is just, it's not an extender. What it is, it's just like a connector.
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge.
It's a
That's
bridge,
extender.
yeah.
But it's not Wi-Fi. It's Ethernet.
Hey.
Yeah, it's.
I got mad when people stopped calling them repeaters, because I knew what I was talking about. The marketplace would not call them repeaters; they had to call them extenders. Hey,
I'll ask that. But
I got one other thing that I think you guys are going to think is awesome, where I think really is applicable to our lifestyle here. And Linda, you're always telling us about IPTV.
Can I
All right,
just
all right,
continue? Just
sure.
I want to finish this
All right,
up.
well, what's the thought?
So
Let's
now
finish
I'm
that.
looking at the euro, okay?
Okay.
Now, if for my purpose, in my bedroom, I have an Ethernet connection with it, no matter how it's connected.
That's
or-
going to be a better connection than the Euros.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
physically connected with a cable. As long as the cable isn't damaged, it's going to be a better connection. Yeah.
But that box you have that you plug into is an extender.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, they just adapted it to extend your connection in the bed, way back in the office to get in.
I really want to end our club with this topic. Not that topic, this topic,
Okay.
the one I'm looking at.
On the way.
Linda has told us many times about IPTV, and this is all running TV through the internet. Did you guys catch Amazon's product release announcement a couple weeks back? They have a box they have announced that should be available November 14th. They're calling it Fire TV Recast.
Fire?
Fire TV Recast. The Recast is a DVR for HD TV that is accessible from your devices, either in your home or across the internet. Now what this is this is a DVR you hook up to an HD TV antenna in an area that gets HD TV programming and allows you to use a guide to record programming or watch live TV streams from that area. Think about this for a moment. This is a TiVo. What was the streaming box, Jim? The one where you had to have internet service and cable service on one side, so you could use it over here. Mike uses it in his house. Sling. This is Amazon's version of a Sling box specifically for HD TV. No monthly fees.
No monthly fees?
No monthly fees.
Until you use it.
This is what I think is amazing, is that a buddy of mine in Phoenix was just telling me, Scott, I am so sick of cable. I'm ready to get rid of cable. We only watch 2 channels, and we're paying he's paying something like $100 a month for cable. This box starts at $229. Phoenix, an area like Phoenix, has a ridiculous number of HD TV channels. I mean, they've got dozens of HD TV channels out there in the air. This box has 2 tuners in it. You can hook up HD TV antennas. You use a computer, a tablet, a phone, or a Fire TV to administer this content. And you set on a guide what programs you want to have recorded, CBS, NBC, and it stores it. The $299 version has a 500 gigabyte hard drive. They're saying that's about 75 hours of TV. They're saying that you can attach to this device from the internet and watch those local programming in real time, or you can pick up your recorded shows. Linda, you're the one I want to have hear this. Have you paid any attention to this, Linda? This is.
We're looking at
We're
it right
looking at it,
here.
it's
Okay.
very, very interesting. But it says here that it does not work with cable or satellite.
It's
with
only HD TV.
antennas.
That's
What
right.
is an HDTV
They're
antenna?
those
Isn't
little
that-
black,
So the example I was giving, as you guys were looking up, the example I was giving was Phoenix. Phoenix has dozens of HD TV signals just out in the air, ready to be grabbed by an antenna.
Tucson does too.
That's what this box is for. You leave it in Phoenix. You hook it up with an HD TV antenna. You program all the shows that matter to you, and it just starts recording them. Later, wherever you are on the internet, you connect up to it and you watch your shows.
But
You
is it
can
gonna
also-
work down here.
Do you have to program it from where you have to program it from the United States?
Yeah.
No, you program it from your Amazon account.
Okay.
Yeah, and so far I haven't read anything that makes me feel like it wouldn't work here. It should work here.
So you could record everything in Prime in your Amazon.
It is
Prime.
yours, Linda. That antenna is yours. It's in your property, in your place that you are satisfying
In the
all.
US.
You're satisfying all FCC regulations.
In the US.
Right.
So you
And
could set it up in Vegas.
that's right. You could set it up in Vegas.
New York City.
Now keep in mind, I'm really excited about this. It doesn't come out till November 14th.
But is
So
this
all of
gonna
this
be-
is what they're talking about
It's
it.
called Romeo.
Thanks.
Rome, like ROAMIO. It says TiVo Romeo.
I think it's comparing to those
Here's
services.
an interesting thing, is it TiVo?
No, but
Yeah.
it gives you a TiVo experience.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not TiVo. TiVo has a monthly service fee.
Yeah, TiVo, I signed up for lifetime TiVo in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't had it for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, TiVo also works best with a cable service or a satellite service. I mean, I guess you could use it with HDTV, but I haven't seen much
Oh,
about
here
that.
it is. Irving's got it up here. It says TiVo Romeo OTA 1 terabyte DVR with no monthly service fees.
So there, you know what? As I was doing research for this topic, I ran across all these different players that are immediately changing the way their business model because Amazon's about to announce this. I mean, they've announced that they're about to release this. TiVo, this is the first time TiVo has had a service without a monthly service fee. First time. I bet Slimbox will be next.
okay, what does HDTV mean?
High definition
High
TV.
definition
So
TV.
if I have HDTV like I'm supposed to have right now in my home, don't I
Well,
have it?
in this
No.
discussion,
It's an
we're
antenna.
talking about
Well, I have-
HDTV, over-the-air
signal.
HDTV.
Well, but I have it, I have 3 antennas on my roof.
With HDTV antennas.
No.
Well, I don't know, but I have HDTV. If there's an HDTV program, let's say,
You're talking about in Vegas.
no, here in Mexico, well, I'm getting it
Okay.
from the United States.
So you're not hearing what I'm saying. And
No,
let me
understand.
try again. HDTV is over the air. Like, you remember you changed from channel 12 to channel 11 on the TV and you'd pick up whatever was in your local area? Well, that's still going on, but now it's going on with HD signals. So they're over the air, they're just out there for anybody to watch for free. You just need an HDTV antenna.
Literally
It has
broadcast.
nothing to do with DirecTV.
Yeah.
Cable
The-
TV.
this is-
It's an antenna.
And he's talking about each market, like in a Phoenix market or Tucson market
Well,
or.
you know Becky that comes to Computer Club?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, was renting a condo this summer in Green Valley, and I went up there. She bought one of these HDTV antennas that goes on the
Mhm.
window
Yeah.
thing.
It's awesome.
We got 15 channels.
It's awesome.
It came
And you
in
always get
crystal
Fox,
clear.
ABC,
Yeah.
CBS, NBC. You always get those channels.
Right.
Because that's your local market, is
Right.
those channels. And they're all being broadcast for free in HDTV. And all you need is an HDTV antenna.
Will they be challenged like the other ones are being challenged right now by the, in the courts as far as legality?
No, that's actually. I mean, some of you might be thinking, well, of course they won't. But actually, that's a great question, because Aereo was a service that they're comparing this to. And Aereo was a service where, as a business, they were buying HDTV antennas and renting space on buildings in markets like Las Vegas, LA, New York,
And reselling.
and they were reselling it. You would sign up for Aereo, and they would take your sign-up money and buy an HD antenna and put it up and say, now you have access to it. But what they were doing wrong is that they were allowing you access to any antenna in their network, and they couldn't prove that they had oversold the antennas. Like for example, in modems and an internet service provider, we used to buy one modem for 7 people, because not all 7 people are going to be connected at the same time, and that was totally acceptable. That FCC regulations, that you are violating FCC regulations if that's what you're doing with antennas. You can't timeshare a TV antenna. And that's where they got in trouble and their business shut down, is because they weren't located in the market of the person's residence. They couldn't prove that only one person to an antenna,
Interesting.
and so they were shut down for that. Now this satisfies both of those needs. This is your antenna. You own it. You administer it. Nobody else has access to it but you. It exists in your market.
Who would install it?
You would. You could hire somebody to put up an antenna for you if you needed to. But like Phoenix is a great example where you, like Linda was saying, just stick it in the window.
Yeah,
You-
she just put it right on the window.
Yeah.
And it went into the TV.
And then it brings in the signal right on the,
Right, and so this would bring it right into this box. This box is connected to your Wi-Fi network. And so then you're able to connect to it through the internet, either locally in your house or from anywhere else on the
like a
network.
security system or something.
Well, yeah, the same manner, yeah, the same kind of. Now, what this does, you pair this. See, Amazon is trying to be like Apple. You pair this with your Amazon products, your Amazon Fire TV, and so all that content is immediately laid out, beautified in an Amazon TV. Why would you buy anything other than a Fire TV? It's also available through their Fire TV apps, which you can buy for your iOS devices, your Apple devices, or you don't buy, you download it for free. You can install it in your tablet or your phone, or they've got an Android version you can install in your Android devices. I have not seen where they said this Fire TV software is available for an Apple TV or any of the other, like an Xbox or any of that, but that may be coming as well.
But I'm wondering if it's gonna work down here, because you can't, it's very difficult to get Prime down here.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah, I get Prime.
I get Prime.
I have no problem with
Oh,
Prime.
okay, you get
Even
Amazon
on
Prime
even
down
on
here?
bed, I go
Oh,
on the
okay.
tablet, that comes in perfect.
I mean, you're limited to the catalog that's available
In Mexico.
in Mexico, but
Correct.
it's available here.
Okay, so they have it now.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what I was wondering about this, though. If
yeah.
you're gonna be able
We
to.
would
See,
only
this
want
is,
with Prime.
they're marketing this as you don't need anything. There's no monthly fee. What they want you to do is they want you to buy their Fire TV because it's going to work the best with that. And you can couple it with Alexa, with the Echo,
Yeah.
on the Fire TV, so that you can do things like record NCIS this week. You can tell it, and it will, right?
Yeah?
It's a very cool concept, and I think it's very cool for our situation, because I can imagine a number of us having a buddy in Phoenix that has your box and an HD TV antenna available to it. My friend in Phoenix, this is a perfect opportunity for him to get out of cable, because all he cares about is those 15 channels that are available locally.
And so, is any market stronger than any other, like California, Nevada, Arizona, or?
For HD TV?
For quality of signal?
Yeah, I think you're gonna find more like HDTV is ridiculous where I live in Alaska, because I live in a valley of the city, and cell phones don't work very good there. HDTV channels don't come in. You basically need cable to have any kind of take. But I could get one of these boxes. I could set it up at my friend's house, right? And he could bring in all the signals for me, and then I could just access it from my TV
Okay, so I'm
set.
out in the spit, you know where that is. Could I hang it in my window and receive a signal, you think?
You're talking about the Homer spit?
Yeah.
No, there's no HDTV signals out there, is there? There's probably two. There's probably two channels out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be the best place to use it.
Big city with lots of
I
channels.
mean,
That's what you
What
want.
I'm saying is that I have it in Vegas, my antenna.
Oh yeah, well
and I
then,
want to watch it in Homer Spit.
so what you would need is a decent internet connection in Homer.
All right, which
Yeah.
you don't have. Yeah.
That's what you would need, yeah. Yeah, a lot of places around Alaska are like going back in time 30 years.
I wonder if you'll be able to
10,
degrade
15.
the pixels. You know what I mean? Like not if you don't want to watch it in HD, if you want to watch it
Yeah.
in a lower quality, so you can stream it in a place like.
You know, both Amazon and Netflix do that automatically now. They look at the
Okay.
connection you
Okay.
have, and they stream to you the highest quality your connection can handle. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be in this box too. I think this is really intriguing. Now there are a couple of things. For $220, these are on sale right now, so they're going to go up in price. But right now, for basically $230, it's a 500 gigabyte drive with two tuners in it. What that means is you can watch something, and you can record something at the same time, or you can record two things at the same time. The 500 gigabytes in Amazon Talk translates to 75 hours of programming that you can record. For $50 more, for $280, you can get the 1 terabyte. That has 4 tuners in it. You can record up to 4 things at one time. or watch a stream and record 3, or
But
watch 2 streams.
This is a must. So, I mean, this is actually, we have to get it. We can get rid of our DirecTV completely with this.
This is what I'm thinking, is that what the difference with this and the Sling Box is you don't need TV service on the other end. You do need internet on the other end. But the Sling Box gets really expensive because you need cable or satellite plus a high-speed internet connection. You eliminate cable or satellite with this device.
I just want to give a warning, by the way, as far as we're on DirecTV.
Okay.
I had an incident here that upset me. Well, you know, we go back and forth to Alaska, Mexico, this and that. So they sent me these 5 boxes. We're supposed to, they're like satellite boxes. I forget what they call them. They're very small, and they work off one central receiver. And you put them all over, and they, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not recognizing it as
Well, at
you're
any
describing
rate,
it.
So we got one of them, and we had to get it zapped, you know, to get the signal.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Here's the warning. According to them, when I had that zap, now I've been with them many, many years, of course. According to them, I automatically renewed my contract, and if I try to get rid of their contract, I have to pay 2 years of $20 a month.
Ugh.
Yeah, unknown to me, with no, you know.
Some of these companies are like going
automatically-
back in time dealing with them.
Well, they're all crooked.
Yeah.
They're all doing that. And that's, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm taking them out of auto pay. Like I had to do with AT&T that robbed me. And if I decide to get rid of them, I just won't pay them. Let them sue me. I don't need credit.
You
In
just
fact,
tell your credit card company or your bank that just file a complaint against them, they'll take care of it. They'll deal with him directly.
You know, that's
I had that kind of a situation. They took care of it for me and canceled my
That's good
contract
information.
and everything.
That's good information.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's
just-
good to
it's
inform
just
the credit card
ridiculous.
company because they're the ones that are making credit decisions for how you stand as
They
far
got
as
more
credit
power
goes.
if they go in there and say, hey, you know, you're out of line and this is why, and they got their staff that are more experienced.
Well,
with that
anyway,
kind of
that's a
dealing.
warning if you're doing
Yeah.
anything with
Yeah.
DirecTV.
Yeah, no, they got you. They got you. Yeah.
They're scrambling because of Amazon.
Well, since AT&T bought DirecTV, they're now a crooked company like AT&T is. DirecTV was not that way before they became one company, which is one of the bad things that's happening in our economy. You know, I love Trump and I love what he's doing, but this is like the worst thing. I do.
Wait, let's
But-
not get
but
into
the
That's
worst
that's
thing-
awesome,
I should
Irving.
never
I'm gonna
say
clip that audio from this.
Well, one of the bad things he's done is allowing these huge companies to screw us. He's allowing them to get too big. And they're becoming, basically what they call it, where they control everything. The government used to sue them against this. What do they call
Monopolies.
Monopolies, yeah.
So AT&T now is practically a monopoly.
Of course.
Again.
Ironic because
Again.
they're splitting up
Yeah.
like the 80s.
Which is a horrible thing.
Hey, I want to mention just one more thing about this Fire TV recast. Again, all of this is fairly speculation.
Unbelievable.
Fairly speculation because nobody's touched these products yet. They haven't been released yet. You can pair this device, needs to be paired with their software, either in their device or in a device you've installed the software with. It can be paired with an unlimited number of devices, which means you can pair your grandkid's tablet with it if you want. You can pair your kid's tablet with it if you want, your wife's tablet, whatever. Your Amazon, your Fire TV, like in my case, maybe it's my parents' Fire TV. But the caveat is there can only be 2 sources streaming at any given time. So even though it's your box, you're not paying any service fee, you're in control of the whole service. There can only be 2, and maybe that'll change in the future because we definitely have enough bandwidth nowadays that it's not constrained by bandwidth. So it's not a technical limitation, it's an administrative limitation that Amazon has put on it. And we might find that they've done that so that you're not overpowering the box they built, so that you continue to have this premium experience. The only way for you to have a premium experience is for you to not overdo it. And maybe that'll be lifted over time. So you can have as many devices as you want talking to this device, but you can only have 2 video streams going at any one
But
time
it's still not available, correct?
until November 14th.
Okay, so you can only have 2 streaming streams going at one time.
That's right.
So
Whether
see, that would be hard
Sell
for
the other
you.
one to somebody else
Your
and make
kids
some
have
money.
all the
Pay
TVs
for
at the house.
But if you buy 2 of these, you might overcome them, or 3 of those.
well, you might.
you'd be
I don't know how that. I mean, I've played with that in my mind. Well, what if I just buy 2 of these devices, right?
Yeah.
Can I have them both associated with the same Amazon account? Do I have access to both sets of content? See, I know the way
Couldn't you
Amazon
just
works.
Set up 2 Amazon accounts, one for you and one for your wife.
You could. That would be an easy solution around it. What I was going to say is I'm very in tune with the way Amazon does things, and I would bet they haven't even thought about that problem yet. I bet they haven't even thought about you having 2 devices and how to access both of them with the same device. But the solution would be 2 different Amazon accounts, 2 different devices associated.
Okay, so you're gonna buy this, you're gonna have to buy an HD antenna.
Yes.
Okay, one of the HD
For that
antennas,
area.
So that's another $30.
Do you know here's a
HD antennas are about $30.
You want to hear something screwy? In Phoenix, my buddy has a TV set that has a built-in HD TV tuner, which most
Yeah,
screens
the
do
new ones.
now. You can't buy anything that doesn't have one built in.
Right.
He's got rabbit ears connected to it. I'm like, how does that work? He's like, it works. The HD TV signals are so strong in this area, I don't need anything but rabbit ears to pull them in. So he doesn't even have the HD TV, the official HD TV antenna hooked to his set. He has rabbit ears hooked to his set.
See, that's a problem down here for us. If you really look at it, you're really not getting an HD signal.
There is
down
no
here.
HD
So
signals
you're
down here.
that could be a problem.
There might be HD signals in places like Mexico City or Guadalajara,
Yeah, because
but
I
there are
noticed-
not in Guaymas.
I noticed that, on my little box, IPTV box,
Mhm.
okay, they brought in the HD channels. So they're all listed, and I started trying to go to the different HD channels, and they don't come in well, they freeze out too much. So you
My
can't get-
understanding from Shavo is I have HDTV.
Sure.
That's the reason I have 3 antennas instead of 1.
Right, but you're doing it through DirecTV, you're not doing it over the air local broadcast.
Over the air.
Yeah. It's this local broadcast thing. It is, see, like most people, when we switch to HD, in the United States they can't broadcast anything but HD now. It has to be
Yeah.
digital over-the-air signals. That's FCC now. With the exception of the border states, because there are so many people, their market, it's so bizarre, like in Arizona, in Texas, in California, so much of the advertising of the border broadcasters are to the Latin American market on the other side of the border that do not have HD TVs. They were able to get an exemption from the federal government to continue to broadcast analog signals. Otherwise, they would lose on their advertising market share. Their advertisers would have no reason to advertise with them, so they would have no way of making money because the advertisers are targeting the Latinas on the other side of the border. So they're the only ones with it. Everywhere else in the United States, it's HD only.
But I'm confused. I really got a mind block on this.
That's okay.
If it's coming in on the satellite, DirecTV, that's in the air, no?
That's microwave, not radio wave. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's satellite technology through a satellite service.
Must be okay.
You're
Right.
stealing the signal.
Well, we're not even
That's why-
stealing it because it's free.
You see what I'm
That's the
saying?
point.
On the new thing.
The HDTV over the air is just...
But you're stealing the signal. It isn't legal down here. What you're doing is illegal
But
down
that's
here.
not, I've told them.
Well, it's a breach of terms of service. Legality's questionable.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
I've
but I
told
mean,
them I've been here. I don't like to do things like that. So I told them I'm here. I told them I traveled to Mexico. And they say it's fine. They never objected. They know they're zapping me in Mexico when I bring.
Well, I think in places like Los
paying them
Angeles
for-
or
I'm
Las
paying
Vegas
them
or
for every
Phoenix or
right.
Seattle, those kinds of
Have
places
four
have an
here, I pay
abundance of HDTV signals
I pay for that, plus
that
the
you'd be
HDTV.
taking advantage of if you were spending time in those areas. This is a way to do it. This is a way to take advantage of that while living down here.
That's any and all channels.
It could be used.
Yeah.
I think this is an awesome product. I think this is going to turn into a killer app for San Carlos. Not only that, you could just
So it's not any at all.
yeah. I mean, you're basically you leave it where you live. You leave it wherever your main house is, or you leave it with a buddy, or you leave it with an uncle, or you leave it with a kid.
And I have one in Alaska.
They're
So my
gonna
bill
be selling
is
them.
like $800.
Your friend in New York, don't you got the friend in New York?
Yeah.
He'll be able to sell the other.
Well, that's the thing. Like I could on Amazon. I could order one and send it to him and say, hook
That's
this
what
up.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So,
But he'll be able to sell the other. You know what I mean? The other stream.
Oh,
Since
yeah,
you're
there's
well,
two,
you're only
yeah.
allowed with 2 streams, but he'll be able to sell the other stream to
So
somebody
the
down here.
IPTV boxes.
I also.
New
No,
York.
it will.
Yeah.
The way to think about it, Linda, is it will only work with the Fire TV application.
Even though I'm paying.
I'm sure New York.
So that app has to be installed in an Android, in an Apple,
Channel's the most.
or it needs to be in an actual Fire TV.
Well, that's why I asked you about Perfect Plan
I
and
had ones down here when I
IPTV
was-
into the
I used to
Apple
run a
box.
TV
The
Yeah.
Apple
service in
TV.
Tequilas
Those
Park.
little boxes.
And we had
They
12
are-
receivers.
That is the worst thing I
Each
know.
one turned to one station.
But anyway, not to
You go
say.
home and
Yeah, I don't think
dial
an
on
Apple TV is a good. It's not a good fit except for very specific things. I don't think it's a very good fit for San Carlos in general. I think those generic Android TVs that like Jim and I've been playing around with, those ones from China, I think those are a much better fit for around here when it comes to that kind of stuff.
My
Okay,
son is not
so-
even using it.
Like I could download the Fire TV app into my Android TV,
Yeah,
and I would be able to take it box we're talking about.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. But a Fire Stick, like so many people are using right now
Right.
for the radiosity,
That's what I've got.
so that Fire Stick
That's what my son is.
would work just fine for this. You mentioned selling the other stream. Actually, you can't because it's associated with your Amazon account. Somebody else to use that other stream, they have to have access to your Amazon account.
Okay, so
So you'd have to set up an account with basically.
Yeah, it'd have to be some generic account that you're not worried about securities on, and you have to have a payment method on there anyway because it's Amazon. So they've done a good job of getting it all kind of locked into a good package that can't get out of control at the moment.
Very interesting, very, very interesting.
Yeah. No, I have high hopes
Yeah,
for it
that's-
around
Sounds
here.
like the future.
Because you're not going to trust them.
I guess they couldn't control the bad publicity over how much they're paying people, so they started. to
Well, the
pay
fact is the
everyone.
competitions came in, IPTV, they can't stop them evidently because they're sending it from other countries and all this other stuff.
Well, this is a direct shot at TiVo.
DirecTV is going to go to those IPTV boxes.
Right,
I read.
yeah.
The little box like we have IPTV.
That's right. DirecTV is
DirecTV's
going to switch to all online.
Sell your-
They're going to
sell
be
your
more like
DirecTV
Netflix
stuff.
than they are DirecTV.
And that'll do away with satellite.
Shorted.
Right, that's gonna do away with the satellites.
Now to me this is an amazing offering because you buy one of these boxes and you already own Prime because you're an American. You have Prime. Everybody has Prime.
Not
So you
everybody. Some people don't want to pay the $100 fee.
well I mean I'm generalizing, but still, and it's even cheaper in Mexico. Prime in Mexico is less than
$50,
$50
but it
bucks.
doesn't-
Really?
$50
Yeah.
bucks, but it doesn't work too well. Yeah.
I've been very satisfied with it. Yeah.
The signal works well, but the delivery service doesn't.
And what I found, I came back to find that almost the exact same catalog of content from Prime in the States is available here on the Mexican catalog.
Is
So
it?
yeah,
I need to recheck that because it's been a while since.
Well, you know, the Netflix down here is improved. You can almost.
that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, you can almost not even tell the difference now with the Netflix.
if you've got Netflix, Prime, and this device in some local area in the States, I think you've done it. You've got your news, you've got your local channels, you've got your movies and your TV shows. Everything's covered.
Yeah, we have Netflix, and then we have the IPTV box. It's got all the movies, like every week the movies come out. It's got the latest movies that are in the movie theater on the box.
I can't wait to try one of these devices. I hope it lives up to its hype. In classic Amazon fashion, it won't, but it will. It just won't. On November 14th, it won't. And probably by Christmas, it will be getting close to it. But I bet by next summer, this thing's going to be totally dialed in.
Like Super Bowl, right?
Well, and you saw what they did with Prime in Mexico. You can get the NFL right through Prime in Mexico.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, so like you got all these guys that used to bootleg satellite signals or they're bootlegging it off the internet. Well, Amazon cut a deal with the NFL to release it on Prime, and now you just pay $50 for your yearly membership, and you've got access to all the NFL games.
I just don't use it.
That's the bad thing for me is I don't know if I want to start watching TV again. I mean, it's a personal thing.
So do you do these meetings every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday at 9:15. Yeah, and
Say Bitcoin. Say Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
I told him. I said sometimes I get on Bitcoin. I said
We could talk about Bitcoin quite a bit. We could actually keep talking because we haven't talked in months. But we got to shut it down. We're about 20 minutes over our normal ending time, and our normal ending time is always 20 minutes over. But we will meet again next Tuesday, and I have got topics for next Tuesday. We didn't get a chance to talk about LastPass, which I did finally get into. And I told people in the club I would spend some time with LastPass and making that, letting people know what my experience was using a password manager for all my passwords. I've been using Android Auto, which is an awesome system for using your Android phone in a car and making it easy to do maps and music and podcasts and telephone calls and all that in a car. We still didn't talk about, there's a walkie-talkie on the Apple Watch where you can press a button and have walkie-talkie conversations with other Apple Watches. We didn't even get into more details about the Apple Watch. And California is about to get sued for their own net neutrality laws. When the federal government disbanded the regulations, California put together their own regulations, and now Trump and the DOJ is coming after them saying putting together their own regulations is illegal. So that'll be an interesting topic to watch and talk about. But now I'm going to shut this whole thing down. So thank you for being... Okay.
It's very good.
Thank you. And it's Robert, right?
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Robert. You're welcome back. Everybody's welcome at the San Carlos Computer Club.
It doesn't matter what your political affiliation?
It does not matter.
All right.
Come in a red hat. You will be on film.
I'm really apolitical. I'm American, and I and I hope things go good.
Yeah, well, especially with the new NAFTA. It sounds promising.
Not if you read the Mexican newspaper.
You got optical. We don't have it in the country club.
This has been the San Carlos Computer Club. I am Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions. And if you have computer issues in this country or any country on the internet, I would appreciate you getting a hold of me, either remotely or come by our office. You can reach us through internationalcs.net or the San Carlos Computer Club. You can reach at scclub.org. We make recordings of this and we post them for posterity. You can find us on YouTube. You can listen to us live every Tuesday from 9:15 to 10:15. What am I forgetting? We're at Tequilas in San Carlos. They don't pay me anything to advertise, but they're an awesome place. They give us free Wi-Fi and they give us great table service, and they're happy to have us every week. So if you're in San Carlos, even if it's not a Tuesday, come by Tequilas. You'll get good food and good service from good people. I guess that's it. Tech on. We're done.